Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I am speaking with Kaitlyn Kohler. She has just released a fantastic new track called Everywhere I Go, and I'm super excited to talk to her all about it. Kaitlyn, I want to thank you for taking the time to be here. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm thrilled that you're here because the song is awesome and it
Thank you.
deserves to be talked about.
Thank
Before
you.
we get to it, though, how's life in Texas? What's been going on?
Just trying to get the new song out. It's hot. We're in
Yep.
what we call the preheat, and so
Okay. Okay.
we're up in the 80s and 90s, and then
Oh,
once it hits July and August,
sure.
that's when the real heat's coming. And yeah, I'm originally from Missouri. I grew up
Okay.
most of my life in Missouri, and so moving down here was definitely a big change. I'm not used to
I'm
the heat,
sure.
and so I stay inside most of the time.
I don't blame you. It sounds miserable, to be
Yeah.
honest. But
I
you're
mean,
making music, which I'm sure
yes.
distracts you from the heat, or at least tries
Yes.
to.
Hmm.
Well, you've got this new song out. It's called Everywhere I Go. And like I said before we started recording, I really, really like it.
Thank you.
But, obviously you're here and I want to talk to you. What's it about? Like, what inspired the song? What's the meaning behind it all?
Yeah. So for me, what I take away from the song is that the overall message is really finding home in somebody so that no matter how far away you are from them, it's like your home is in that person. And so they're always with you, and your home is always with you wherever you go. And I actually had a really cool the song has a really cool story behind it because I had the incredible opportunity a couple summers ago to go up and do a writing session with Buck Johnson, who's the
Oh,
keyboard. Yeah, he's the keyboardist for Aerosmith and Hollywood Vampires, and
nice.
yeah, so he's on tour with them right now. But the session went really well, and it was super cool. He was a great guy and got along really well. And then a couple weeks later, he ended up calling my manager, and he was like, "Hey." I have some songs that I wrote that I think that Kaitlyn would sound really good on. I think they would convert really well over to
Sure.
country, and was wondering if you guys, if she'd be interested in singing them. Yes,
Yes,
duh.
100%.
Like, yes,
You don't
I'm
have
gonna
to
say
ask
no.
it twice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I went back up a few weeks later and we recorded two of them. One of them was the last song that I just released, I'm Not Crying, that ended up going number one. And then
Amazing.
the other one was this one. And so I've gotten to write with him again some more, and we recorded another song. But this one is the one that we're going with right now, and I'm super excited about it. And I'm just really thankful that he let me sing it and went up to his house and recorded
Yeah.
it in his house in his little studio. And so he, wrote it along with Charlie Midnight and Andy Zach, and then he produced it himself and everything. And so I'm just really honored, and it's just still rocking my mind that I got
I'm
to
sure
like
of it. That's
collaborate with him on something of that level. And yeah, so it's exciting.
no, that's such a huge thing. One thing I would say for everyone who's going to listen is like the production really is killer on this. I would
Yeah.
recommend that you listen with a nice pair of headphones
Oh yeah.
because there's so many. No, really though, it's not one of those things you play to your laptop speakers. Like, yeah, there's
Yeah.
so many subtleties in the instrumentation, this and that. However, like with that being said, I think your vocals still 100% take center stage
Thank
here.
you.
I want to get into more of sort of like the process of things. Like, how did
Yeah.
it work on the recording side? Was it like everything was ready for you to go and you just stepped in? Was there collaboration?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
yeah, what it, yeah.
literally what it was. I went back up to his, like I said, we had the writing session, and so then that couple weeks later I went back up to his house,
Hmm.
and he had already had the song ready to go. We had all the instrumentation, and you have demo singers and things like that.
Sure.
And so then he messed around with it a bit, and then I just walked right up, and then we laid the vocals down,
Nice.
and that took, I would say it took a couple hours. It didn't take that
Yeah.
long just because, Buck is very thorough
I
as far as
understand.
getting it, and he, so it's like you do the song the whole way through a couple of runs, and then you
Sure.
work individually on verses and choruses and different sections of the song, and then you go in if there's little spots like little
Right.
phrases or sentences that he wants more nuance, or he wants more diction, or whatever it was. So there were
Yeah.
a couple of things where he made me go over like 20 times because he's like, I was like, whatever it was like just enough off where he's like, again,
Yeah.
again, again.
Not that you're
But
not a professional or anything,
well,
but for
no,
someone that's been doing as long as he has, I feel like that's more
yeah,
of a learning opportunity than anything.
yeah, no, for
Yeah,
sure.
you're getting the
And
perspective from all the sides.
yeah, because like the majority of it, like the song goes well, and then there's like those one little things that like you just
Yeah,
you wanna get absolutely right, and that's something that I love about. But and it's tedious, but it's a good quality me because a good quality to me because that means that like we really care a lot about the details and he cares a lot about the details, and it's
sure.
like doesn't matter how many times we're going to do it over and over again until we get the sound that we want.
Totally.
And I think those little details are what really makes the song, and you can tell the difference in the quality between going over it a million times
Yes.
versus just one and done. All right, it's good. I'll just edit your vocals around and we'll call it whatever.
Right.
And so, because I know on my end as a singer and as a vocalist, I always try my hardest to sound as close live as I do on the
Oh,
recording,
super
and so
important.
that way it's like not as much for them to edit. It's as close to the raw vocal as you're gonna get,
Hmm.
and so I always try to do what I can on my end, and then the editors on their end do their magic. They do whatever, and so I remember when we got the edit back from Buck, we're like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. That's me.
Amazing. Right,
That's me.
exactly. Well, I think it also goes to being said like you operate as a solo artist. So
Mhm.
99.9% of the people that are going to listen to the song aren't going to know who's involved. They're just going to think that
Yeah,
it's you. And I feel like if
yeah,
you take that extra hour, you take that extra time to actually be like, okay, this has to be perfect. It has to be what I want and what
hmm,
they want. The final result speaks for itself. And I
yeah,
think it does here.
yeah. Well, thank
Although
you. I
obviously,
appreciate
I
it.
hope everyone listens to the story and hears how it was made. But
Yeah,
you know how music goes.
yeah. No, I understand.
Another thing that I really love about this is that there's so much influence and inspiration within the genres and styles here. Like
Hmm.
obviously, I want to call it like country rock, like it
Yeah.
operates as that. But I want to hear it from you, like what's the elevator pitch for the song? How are you explaining to people that ask, like, what kind of music do you make?
Um, I mean, I feel like country is very much an umbrella term because you
Sure.
explained it well. You have country rock, you have country pop, you've
Hmm.
got bluegrass, you've got classic country, you've got red dirt country, you've got all the different kinds and
Yeah.
elements and things that fuse together. And so I feel overall as my music, it's very much country pop, country rock leaning. Definitely want to try and get more just add infuse different elements in there and everything. And I feel like just whatever the song calls for
Sure.
is what I would like to do to keep to the integrity of the song. And this song is definitely as much Buck's as it is mine, and Buck is a rock artist, and
Sure.
so I feel like you said, definitely has some elements of that, some elements of pop. It's very nostalgic feeling, I guess,
It
because that's the
is.
feeling I got when I first heard it and recorded it and everything.
I definitely
Sorry,
get
Essie,
that.
go. My dog wants to be on the interview.
Oh, I mean,
every time I'm,
obviously.
every time I'm, it's like a Pavlov. Every time I'm on the phone, she's like, "Oh, you're gonna
Sure.
pay me attention, right?"
Yeah, because you're not
Go
paying
lay
attention
down.
to me
Go
now,
ahead.
so
Yeah.
I love
She didn't
that.
want my attention 5 minutes ago when she was
No,
just chilling, but as soon as I'm on the phone, she's like, "Pay attention to me."
that is how life works. I love
Yep.
that. Okay, so let's see. Obviously, in terms of like your music, you're continuing to put out these singles, and I'm sure that there's a lot more on the way.
Yeah.
But in terms of sound and future music, not to take away from this song, are we
Yeah.
going to experience any experimentation? Are you working with new genres or styles, or do you think you've sort of found your lane?
I think it's kind of a mix of both. I think I've sort of found my lane, but I definitely don't want to like close the door or like keep myself in a box,
Sure.
per se. I enjoy music across the board. I'm one of
Yeah.
those people you turn on the playlist and you're like, what is this?
Hey,
Because
that's the
it
best
just
kind of
jumps so
person.
much. And
Yeah.
so I definitely, take a lot of inspiration from the classic country artists, because
Yeah.
that's who I grew up listening to. My parents listened to like Alan Jackson and Travis Tritt and Josh Turner, and I liked all the females like Sarah Evans and
Sure.
Martina McBride and stuff. And then as I got older, I started branching more into a lot of the like classic rock and
Hmm.
hair metal, like Aerosmith
Yeah,
and
which must have been the
ACDC.
biggest thing ever. I can't even
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah, and Journey and the Eagles and
Yeah.
all of them, and then my mom introduced me to all the oldie classics like Etta
Hmm.
James and Nat King Cole and Ray Charles, and so and even like Spanish, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think it's cool to just take like a whole smorgasbord of sounds and like kind of create their own unique thing out of it, but it all feels comprehensive in like a
Sure.
collection of songs and stuff. And
I
so,
love that.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it sounds like whatever is in the works, it's going to be a little bit of everything. I
I
think
like
that's
to say that, yeah.
kind of the coolest part of making music nowadays is before,
Hmm.
like, we didn't necessarily have the technology or the production skills, but
Yeah,
now everything can be anything. Like, you know
it
what I'm
really
saying?
can. Like,
It just, it opens your world.
you ever see those videos of like drummers and they'll play a song and then
Oh, yeah.
depending on the style of the drums, it completely changes the style of
Yes.
music. And I just love that. I love the creativity and the versatility in instrumentation that can
Yeah,
take a song and just change the overall mood of it so
I
much. Like
agree. Truly,
people
those
who are
are,
taking
yeah,
like pop songs or like pop goes punk, or they're
right.
taking rock songs and making them country, or they're taking whatever in the cross genres and stuff. And
Yeah.
so definitely think we're going to stick with a country core.
Hmm.
Obviously I
Yeah.
love country and I want to stay country, but as far as like the little elements that you add in there, it's across the board, I think.
I totally get that. No, truly, those are some of like my favorite TikToks to watch. Is
Yeah.
like, what if I did this in this style? And you're like, damn,
Yeah.
there's so many talented people out there. It's actually
Yeah.
kind of wild. Um,
Hmm.
Another thing I really want to know about is like, obviously, you've been through the experience of creating music from start to finish, whether it be dreaming up a song and just going through the entire process. Is there a moment throughout the entire process that gives you the most energy as a person? Like the thing that makes it feel the most worth it in the end?
I would definitely say just hearing it all come together because there's, a couple different processes. And so when you're in the writing process, sometimes a song comes to you in 15 minutes, and I've had
Yeah.
songs take me a couple years to finish because you just get stuck and then finally you click. But just, I would say that moment when you finish the song and then you're like, oh my gosh, this is it.
Yeah.
But then, getting to go in and record that. And it's like you have an idea of what it sounds like in your mind, but hearing it completed with all of the little things, all of the instrumentation, all of the extra added stuff that like I may not have even thought of. Like there was
Yeah.
one song I wrote with another producer of mine that we were working with at the time, Bobby Terry, and we wrote "Break Another Heart," and so we were trying to write it, and we were stuck on the bridge. And so I had come up with a melody for the bridge, and he came up with some words and a slightly different melody, and
Hmm.
we ended up going with that. But then he brought my melody in a way that I never thought it'd be used as the na 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 like ad lib chorus part. So like in the background, it's playing that, and
Sure.
that added an extra layer that I didn't even think of in the first place. And
Right.
so I would say just hearing it all come together and like we made this. This is so stinking
Exactly.
cool.
That really
Yeah.
helps to get that outside perspective
Yeah.
sometimes. I think
Yeah.
it's also because, like, you as an artist, you've probably listened to the same song 10,000 times.
Oh yeah.
Another vocal track, another tweak here. And it's like, it starts to
Hmm.
become this insular process where you're like, is this song even good? Because I've listened to it a
Yes.
million times at this point, and I have no
Oh
idea.
man.
Like, it's
Sorry.
crazy. It's driving me crazy.
Hmm.
So, yeah. And I think in your position, operating as a solo artist, even
Yeah.
though it's solo from everyone else's perspective, you have to give credit to the people
Yeah. No,
that are
for
there
real.
that aren't
It,
just telling you, yes, this is good, let's move on. Like
yeah.
they care because they care. And that's one
Exactly.
of the coolest things.
It
Um,
really is. Yeah.
have you played or are you playing live shows?
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
live shows around my area in the
nice,
Southeast Texas area, and
cool,
I dip over a little bit into Lake Charles because we're like right on the border.
sure, sure.
But yeah, I actually have a show tomorrow, and I've got two this weekend. But I
Oh,
just do
Amazing.
yeah, it just depends. So I do mostly, just little acoustic shows with my piano,
Nice.
and
Yeah, yeah. I
then
was gonna say, what does the show look like? What does the set list look like? Are there any
yeah,
covers? Is it just you? Like,
yeah,
what's going on?
yeah. It's most of the time it's just me, and it's just me and my piano, and then I
Awesome.
do a whole bunch of covers, across the board, and then I include some of my songs and my songs in as well, and so it's a whole
Sure.
mix of stuff. And then sometimes I get other people to play with, and we'll do full band gigs, and so it just
Nice.
depends on who's available, what's set up, and so I just like to be out there and keep doing as much as I can, and so most of
Yeah,
the time what it looks like it's just me, but I enjoy it
I
and
get
people
it.
seem to enjoy it, and I always get asked back, and so I guess I do a good job.
I'm sure. I'm sure you're not just getting up there and bombing. I don't see that
Yeah.
happening.
Haven't had
Um,
any tomatoes thrown at me yet, so I'm okay.
Not yet. There's always the yet.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
kidding. Never gonna
There's always that
happen.
one person. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's always a hater in the crowd. Gotta have
Hmm.
haters, though. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
I have a few more questions for you. I
Sure.
want to know because we're like 2 weeks away from it being the halfway point of this year, which is
Yeah.
crazy to think about. But I guess what does the rest of this year look like for you? Like, what are some goals that you'd like to hit? Things that are on
Um.
the horizon. You don't
Yeah.
have to say too much if you don't want.
No, no, it's good. It's good. I guess all I can say is I'm super excited about this song. It's coming out soon, and so for the last couple years I've been working the Texas country charts, and so I've
Sure.
had two number ones and a couple top tens,
Yeah.
and but this time we're taking it to the Nashville charts, the non-indicator charts,
Awesome.
and so we're working that angle, which I haven't done before. Well, we did it one time with like the first song that I put out, but we didn't really push it,
Sure.
and so it made it on the chart, was incredible, but
Yeah.
like we weren't focusing on that, we were focusing on the other chart, and so this time we're really taking it to the whole other sphere, and so I'm interested to see where it goes, how it holds up. We're working on building up my social media. I started a TikTok and
There you go.
everything, and just trying to get more content out there, and just kind of show people who I am and what I'm about and what my music's about. And so yeah, if I can just keep the shows going and keep bigger and bigger stages and just see how far my music can reach people this year, I think that's would be really cool. And maybe get to work with some more people and get some new
Totally.
stuff recorded as well. So yeah.
Love that. No, that's what it's all about, having a positive outlook and just,
Yeah.
keeping it positive. Um,
Hmm.
Caitlin, my last question for you here is basically for the person that is going to discover you from this, what is an opening message you'd like to say to them before they listen to your music for the first time?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. I guess I would just like to say I hope that they enjoy my music, and that whatever they listen to, that it's able to connect to them and touch them in some way. And I hope they enjoy it. I'm always glad to have people, come and experience this with me, and we're all on this journey together. And everyone's welcome, and I'm just excited to see, how many people I can reach. And I just hope that my music is able to help people, inspire people, whatever they take away from my music. I hope they're just able to take away something that means something to them, because that's what I'm doing it for, and that's what
Yeah.
I hope my music inspires. And yeah, so
Yeah.
awkward, but
No, not at all. Listen,
yeah,
I've
I hope they enjoy it. Yeah.
I've been doing this a while. I've heard some of the worst answers you could
Yeah.
imagine. That was a great answer, I
Okay.
promise.
Yeah.
Kaylin, I want to thank you so much for taking the time, but
Yeah.
please let me plug your music for you again here. If you guys missed out on what I said in the first sentence, the song is called Everywhere I Go. It will be out once this is out, and we will have the links in our articles so that you can listen and share and follow along and do all that fun stuff. Sounds like there's a ton more in the works happening this year, but obviously there's never been a better time to pay attention.
Yeah.
Um, Caitlin, thank you. This was great.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. All right. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.
You
Stay
too.
cool. Don't overheat in that preheat Texas sun. And
Yeah.
yeah, I hope to speak soon.
Yeah. You too. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Talk to you later. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.